city of Bathurst, where gold was first discovered in Australia. It's now referred to as the place of motorsport racing, and this weekend we can enjoy the ever-growing Liqui Moly Bathurst 12-hour. It's well and truly entrenched on the international racing to-do list. Get ready for what will truly be a world-class event.
A big race needs big drivers, and this year's Liqui Moly Bathurst 12-hour has them from all corners of the globe.
I expect really challenging racing, a little bit similar like Nürburgring Nordschleife, but this everybody told me before it will be really impressive, and that was even impressed me more. It's difficult because there's so many cars on the track. I mean, every time when you're coming up to the part, you need more and more time. There are slower cars in front. That means you cannot adapt yourself to find the limit.
It's going to be a tough race. Yeah, it's 12 hours. You have to survive 12 hours without hitting anything and making any mistakes, and other guys hitting you, avoiding problems, having good pit stops and no mechanical problems. There's so many things can go wrong in 12 hours. So, and in GT racing, 12 hours is actually a sprint race. You just go flat out from start to finish.
It is a tough track because the top sort of 3K through the mountain there is just, you just don't know where you're going. You're going down into the S's. It looks like you're going into space because all you can see is the sky. You've got a V10 behind you. You're going fairly quickly up there, and then obviously you drop off the edge of the world down into the S's and down the dipper. So it does take a lot of learning. It takes a lot of practice.
It's unique and it's difficult to learn basically because there's so much traffic. So to get clear run on the top of the mountain, it never happened to me yet. So I don't know exactly what speed I can go in each corner yet.
It's a really challenging racetrack. I did heard a lot about, and I had to offer in 1988 to do the 24-hour here, but I had to drive Formula 1 in that time, and I missed this race. And this race I was still missing in my whole career to do, and I'm really looking forward now for the 12-hour race because it's such amazing racetrack, and with this car, it's so much fun.
From what I've seen so far, it's up there with the best events in the world. Just everything, the TV, the spectators can come in, the fans can get really close to the drivers, and that's what motorsport needs. Motorsport needs that connection between the fans and the drivers, the teams.
It's just an awesome racetrack. It's not like a modern fashion racetrack with one-offs and where you get amazing safeties. Things here you have to be really careful with whatever you do. If you want to go a bit quicker, you have to know it works, because if it doesn't work, it's getting very expensive.
You can't underestimate any corners on the circuit or any part of the track. You've got to be very vigilant. You've got to be very aware of what's going on around you.
I think there's a lot of guys who wanted to come here, and they just have no clue how difficult this track is, and they have no idea what kind of race this is. But there's no circuit like this anywhere in the world. It's a very unique place.
There are 8 classes that make up this year's field in the Liqui Moly Bathurst 12-hour, catering for just about every type of car you can buy on the road and some that you can't. It starts with Maguire's Invitational 3 for big banger X-V8 supercars and sports cars like the Daytona Coupe. Maguire's Class Invitational 2 is for the baby burners like the Seat Leon Super Cooper, all the way from Spain, and the famous Mazda RX-7. Maguire's Invitational 1 is the domain of a factory Peugeot team that features V8 supercar stars Jason Bright, David Wall and Andrew Jones, and there's a Lotus Elise from overseas as well. In Race Fuel's Class E production performance, it's a BMW versus Holden battle, the venerable 130i taking on HSV's VXR Astra. The Class D V8 race production high performance class is the age-old fight between four-wheel drive turbos and big rear-wheel drive Aussie V8s like the Ford FPV GT and Subaru Impreza WRX STI. There are more than 20 GT cars entered in the race this year, and the baby GT class is the Ridge's Class C GT4. It includes cars like the Lotus Exige, Nissan GTR and, very rare, Aston Martin Vantage. pedigree Class B GT3 is indeed filled with pedigree. The pedigree of Porsche. There's 8 separate 997 Cup cars entered this year, with a host of famous names and leading lights in this class that can often upset the more outright contending cars. Those cars compete for Class A, the Darrell Lea GT3 outright battle. There are 18 cars from a multitude of manufacturers like Audi, Porsche, Lamborghini, Ferrari, Corvette, BMW and of course the famous Mercedes Gullwing. It's an incredible field with the latest specification GT cars from all around the world. They'll be fighting for outright honours in the Liqui Bathurst 12 Hour. Liqui are new to the Bathurst 12 Hour in 2013, throwing their support behind the event the year that it takes off.
The part that excites us, this is truly an international event. When you've got this many international teams and drivers, it's really exciting stuff. Like, people haven't seen the calibre of these drivers in Australia before at all.
Keeping in mind that your brand's on the car behind us, who do you like for the weekend?
Yeah, it's hard to not have a tip on this direction, but look, these guys will have their work cut out for them. I think bringing a new car out, new team, this is not an easy place to dial into. I think there's some, the Audis are going to be very hard to beat. You've got 2 fairly rock and roll Mercedes up the other end, so it'll be a very interesting race.
Qualifying for the Liqui Bathurst 12 Hour was also exciting. On pole position was Tim Slade, Lee Holdsworth and Peter Hackett in the Erebus Motorsport Mercedes. Lee Holdsworth setting a great time of 2:06.27 to go within 0.2 of a second of the benchmark time allowed in the qualifying session. The David Calvert-Jones, Alex and James Davison Porsche was fastest in Class B, with the Simply Sports Cars Lotus Exige quickest of the C-Class GT4 cars. In the production car battle, it was the Sharon Rentals BMW quickest in Class D and the Racer Industries Holden Astra fastest in the baby car class, Class E. Meanwhile, Jason Bright, Mal Rose and Rick Shaw were quickest in the 3 invitational class battles. However, perhaps the biggest story of all was Alan Simonson breaking out, going too fast in the Ferrari and copping a 50-kilogram penalty for the race in the process. Here's Grant Boyden with one of our 3 pole sitters, Peter Hackett from Erebus Motorsport.
Peter, first pole position here at Mount Panorama. First of all, how's the tummy?
Yeah, it's fine. I've put on a little bit of kilos over Christmas, Boydo, but...
I was referring about energy. And are you stressed? No, seriously, are you stressed coming into this knowing that you're the guy that's going to set the pace in these opening laps?
You know, it's really funny because normally as a driver you are anxious at this point. Your earplugs, balaclava, the pit lane's just been open, but I've got teammates this time around, so it's a really strange sensation. You know, as a team Erebus Motorsport, we're really proud of what we achieved yesterday. We've got a long day ahead of us. We're under no illusions there, but is there pressure? No, Timmy's a seasoned professional. Lee's right there, and my job is to keep the car straight.
Having known you for so long, one thing I can guarantee is you're not a guy that drives a seat very well. You want to be in a race car. Is it frustrating having to sit there and have somebody else start, as far as you're concerned, your car on your race day?
Yeah, there's a little bit of me that says I'd like to do all 12 hours on my own, but the reality is, you know, if we can spread the load and take a little bit of pressure off each of us, then we'll be better at the end.
Importantly, any issues overnight that we need to be made aware of?
Yeah, we had to clean more bugs off the front than we wanted. There wasn't quite that Mercedes-AMG Zen that we thought.
Good on you. Have fun out there.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thanks to Boydo in pit lane. He will be a busy boy down there today. The grid starting to clear as we count down to the start of the Liqui Bathurst 12 Hour. There's Craig Baird. He's chatting to his Irish co-driver Matt Griffin, and Bairdo will start the Clearwater Ferrari. These are the German side of the Erebus Motorsport equation. And there's the Aussies too. So Tim Slade to start car number 63. Peter Hackett talking to Lee Holdsworth, who has been so impressive this weekend. And back a little bit in the Maguire's Invitational class, there's Jason Bright. He will start one of the 2 Works Peugeots entered in the race this weekend. So the scene set, the local team, GWS Motorsport, Peter O'Donnell, Andre Heimgartner, amongst others in the former race-winning BMW, looking strong. And then Alex Davison to start the car that he'll share with his cousin James and expat Australian David Calvert-Jones. A really strong combination in Class B as the Darrell Lea safety car leads the field around on the warm-up lap. Now the clock is officially counting now, so technically the race has started. The Liqui Bathurst 12 Hour for 2013. It's Mercedes, a couple of Ferraris at the very pointy end of the field. One of the pedigree Class B Porsches 8 of them in that field. This is one of the New Zealand-based motorsport services team. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we go racing on the mountain for the Liquimoli Bathurst 12 Hour. Mount Panorama Bathurst did 6,213 metres of the toughest bitumen around to help